and then we can kind of get started and other people can join. So I'm Eddie McDonough. I'm a project manager on the SPPI process improvement team. And so my team kind of developed this app over the past year. And so now we're just in the process of rolling it out. So for this meeting, it's just kind of a training. You guys, we're a small group here, so you can feel free to interrupt me, ask me any questions. I'm going to be sharing my screen kind of the first half here and just kind of walk you through. It'll be pretty quick, but the whole process is relatively straightforward at least. So I'll do a kind of an example submission, and then at the end, I'll just have everyone kind of do their own quick submission, just assign it to me, just to make sure kind of the buttons, everything works for you and everything kind of makes sense. So feel free to kind of interrupt me, ask me any questions if I'm going too fast or you want to see something again. And then I'm happy, and I'm available after the training too. If you actually start submitting an EPF and you have a question, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help and kind of support kind of through the whole process. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here. I share the whole screen because there's gonna be some like email notifications I'll show as well. So this is the link I sent in the chat. It'll look the same for you all. I just have like some example ones that I put in here, so I don't think you'll be able to see those because they're just kind of assigned to me, but you'll be able to see your own drafts or anything that you've kind of submitted in kind of this dashboard here, right? So this is one that I was working on earlier, a couple days ago, where it says draft status, haven't submitted or anything. This one I submitted in a prior demo. You can see, right, it's just kind of demo, and you can see where it's sitting. So it's been approved by the program or your manager, and it's been approved by the finance officer. I just signed it to myself for both of those, so it was just me approving it. So this is kind of quick dashboard at a glance, right? This one, you can click into any of them and see more details. It's been a little slow to load today, so kind of see everything's blank, so the dots were loading up here. So sometimes you might have to give it a second to load, but for the purpose of this, to create a new EPF, you need to click the plus button just kind of in the upper left corner here. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then it opens kind of this EPF form where you have to fill everything out. So everything's kind of blank, defaults to your name when you're the person submitting it, so that's me. For the purposes of this demo, the only thing that's actually required is the PO number. So I'm going to just quickly fill in demo, just some info so I can kind of track it, 6.5. And then, so I'm not going to fill everything in here. I will, right, but if you have vendor address, program name, this is all stuff that's kind of on the previous EPF form. We just kind of digitized it here in this app. Year expense incurred, it defaults to the current year, and this is for, right, if you're submitting something in January for the previous year and you need to change it back 1 year, it'll show you're able to do that. So that's why we have that here, but it defaults to the current year. And right now it supports up to 4 funding sources and 5 invoices. So that's kind of a new update that the team just added. So that's good. Anything else you have to do it kind of the original way, but this is what the finance team decided on that we could do with the app. I'm just gonna put in some example things here. Nothing's required here. I'm gonna put some amounts. Next one, we can put in here. So see, this is the total amounts, right, from the funding sources, and then it kind of takes the total from the amounts and it'll total it up here. So, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You'll notice it's highlighted in yellow, and that's because you want the invoice details and the funding sources to match. So since I haven't gotten to here yet, it's just a visual indicator showing it hasn't matched yet. So I'll just go down to invoice details. You can choose the date received of the invoice. 2 invoices for this one today. And then for the amount, you'll notice I can't click into here. It's kind of grayed out if you look really close versus how I can click into here. That's because this is a calculated field. So sometimes this makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. But I'll show you what I mean. So it's just a kind of a calculated field. So it's these 2 fields it's quantity times unit cost gets you the total amount. So sometimes it makes sense for if you're ordering certain items, right? if you have, 10 of a certain item, you can just put that in. It's an easy calculation. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? If it's like hours worked and the calculations aren't working, right? If you have like 6 units for a total of 529, but there's no like unit costs, right? So the guidance I've been given is you can just put, 1 times whatever, excuse me, the weird number is to get the actual amount, even if the quantity was higher than 1. So, and then you can, if you need to, you can put in the description field. Quantity is, actually 6 or something, right? If you're trying to get to like 520 or, the question someone asked was 529. Even if the quantity is actually 6, you can put that in the description. For the, I'm just using kind of easy numbers here, so that doesn't really apply for me. And then I'll give an example of the quantity, right? So if I did 2 and 1,000 here, it's going to get the total to 2,000. You'll notice the yellow thing indicator went away, so we're matching at 3,000 each here. Any questions so far? I've been going a little fast here.
Hello, Edwin. I'm Naya.
Yeah. Hi,
Hi,
Naya.
how are you? Hello, everyone.
Good. Thanks for
I got a
joining.
question,
Yep.
actually at the very beginning. So if you could
Yep.
scroll to the top when you was referring to the vendor's code and the PO number.
Mhm.
Now, because I'm normally when I get the EPF from all the programs, I am the one that process it.
Got
Now, with the vendor's code, am I going to still put in the numbers that the vendors handle? Like as an example, Office Depot is 3323. So
Mhm.
would I still put the vendor's numbers in the code as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now the PO
Mhm.
numbers are actually the numbers that we get from FMPS. So will we have to go back in to get the PO number because they order it's like, we do ordering, it's like we're going through 2 different systems to place one order.
Right.
So it's like first we start off with the EPF and then we actually have to go into FMPS to get a PO number. So
Mhm.
do I have to revert back to this system or should I process in FMPS to get a PO number to actually to give, to put a PO number
Right.
on this form?
Got it. Good questions. So this is a new change from last week, why it's required. So I just want to clarify, you're talking about PO number, and then this payment voucher is one that comes from, this is what PV is different from the PO,
Right,
right? So
PV comes,
you want
right. The PVs come
specifically
for
the
the clerk.
PO.
Mhm.
Okay. And then the FNPS gives you the
The
PO. So
PO
someone
number.
asked this in a
Yes.
previous train, so it's a good question. So I've taken it to the finance team. My direction I've been given so far is just put like TBD, and you'll have the option. You can come back in and add it in or edit it.
Okay.
Right, but it's required, so I have to put something there. So if you don't have a PO number, you can put TBD, and then we can come back to it later.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, good question. Thank you. Anything else from anybody? So I quickly entered funding sources and then invoices, matched them up. And so the yellow indicator went away. If there's any additional details you want to add here, you can, right? One thing I want to call out, they just added this as well, the team did. You can add, there's, it kind of auto adjusts the height here, and then it scrolls. So if there's a lot more detail you need, there, you're not limited to just this one line. It'll automatically adjust the height, and you can scroll it here. Attachments, here's where you'd attach kind of invoices. Where did my stuff go? I just had a demo invoice. You can attach multiple ones. Right, you can select like 3 at once, right? So I just attached a lot, so maybe I'll delete some of them, but you have the option, you can attach all your invoices here, anything else that's relevant that you want to attach. Do the 2, so we don't have the 2. And then down here is where you'd select who needs to approve the EPF, right? So you do either program director or your manager, whatever kind of the first step is. For the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to put myself. And then you'd also select the finance officer. I'll just put myself so we can kind of see what it looks like from their perspective once you submit it and how it goes through kind of their emails and what they have to do to approve it. And then right now, I believe there's not a finance director, so it's not required. We're not doing this step. So just skip that one for now until further notice. And then deputy commissioner and then the commissioner. These are only required if the amounts are greater than 100,000 and 250,000 respectively. And then you'll notice this grayed out. I can't even click it because I'm only at the 3. I only put 3,000, but if you're above it, it will enable, and you will be able to select these options as well. This ship to is just if it's relevant to your EPF, so you can use it if it's relevant. If not, normally for this demo, I've just been skipping it, right? So it's not required or anything for that. And then I'm at the bottom of the form here. And then when you're finished, you just want to hit this floppy disk save icon back in the upper left. And that'll save kind of everything you've done so far. So I'll do that. See, and now the form, everything's saved here, everything's grayed out. And this is what you would submit. Let's say, right, it's taking a while to fill this out and you want to come back to it, you can hit save. You go back to the app, right, and then it's right here in draft status. You can always come back to it, it's saved for you. And then to edit it, you'd want to click this. So right now I can't click into anything. You'd want to click this edit, this pencil button up here. And now everything you can go back in and start editing again. Hit save again. Let's say you're doing kind of a lot of similar EPS. You can always hit this. This is a copy button up here. It'll just kind of clone the item, and then you can work on a similar one, right? So you don't have to enter in kind of if it's the same funding sources or anything, vendor information, things of that nature. If for any reason you wanted to export it, you can click this PDF button. It'll export everything you have into a PDF, and you can start. You can send it or save it as a PDF, whatever you need to do for that. So just a little more flexibility. Up here, right, if you had a question, right, on this PO number or vendor code, there's actually this comment feature built in, which is handy. Then you can actually type a question directly into the app. And then you can tag someone, and it will actually send them an email as well. You can tag multiple people. I'll get you in here for the demo, right? So you can actually submit it, and you'll see you kind of get a quick email, and you can have a comment, and it'll link them right into this form. And so then you can, ask them for help if you need certain information, or just keep people notified here. I just hit the X button, so it went away. Let's say everything's good though. I'm happy with what we have. And you're ready to submit for approval. And that's going to submit. I'll scroll down to kind of this first approval step that I entered, program manager to me right now for the purposes of this demo. So I'll hit submit for approval, and that'll be at the end of kind of most EPFs from your perspective in terms of the work that you have to do. But for the purposes of the demo, I'll just show you what it looks like kind of for a manager approval step, and then for the finance officer step as well, and kind of go through the email chain here. So I hit submit. So let's see what happens here. So here's the comment that I just did, right? I got the email, like I said, it gives you a link into the item actually. So whoever you tagged here. So this is what it looks like so you can see kind of the comments in the email, and then you can click into here and go back to the item that you're working on. So here's what it looks like when you submit it for approval. So like as the manager, the deputy, whoever's getting this is what they're gonna see an email. But this item has been submitted for your approval. You can see kind of the vendor name, who initiated it, which is me. So it's like me to me, so it's a little confusing for this demo, and then it shows the total amount here. And so the manager or deputy who's ever doing this will have to click in the email to either approve or deny the request. So I click the link in the email, and then this is what they'll see, just so you know, right? They can just see the amount. They can click here, it'll take them to the item we're just working on, and they can just, if they need to see more detail or anything there. So I'll just click that. It's been a little slow to load today. Let's see how this link works. That was nice and quick, which is good. So you can see the total amounts. Here's everything I was entering in, right? Here's kind of the description, what I did there, right? All the attachments. Right, if they had a question, right, the manager, they could come in here and add a comment. They don't have the ability to edit anything here, but so all they can do is basically give feedback and approve or reject it. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to approve it just so we can kind of see the next step from the finance officer as well. Before I click that, does anyone have any questions on the process I'm doing so far?
I'll check the chat. The email.
Nice.
I have a question. When you enter EPF, are you supposed to get an email confirmation that you submitted it?
No, you won't get one that you submitted it, but you will, I'll show you, you will get a final one once it's been approved by all parties.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I've entered it before and I wasn't sure, but I did get that.
Right. So let me show. So I'm just gonna go back here so you can see. So like, right, you remember, if you remember, I had 2 in draft, and then here's the one we're working on here, demo Eddie 6-5. And it went from kind of my inbox to draft to in process. So you can kind of follow along here where it says pending program approval. So you can see it's kind of sitting at this program level. See this little inbox here. So that's, you can like, this tells you it's been approved and it's kind of waiting in the next step, or not approved, but it's like pending approval, right? So it's been kind of submitted. And if I clicked into that and we scroll down, right, just kind of same detail, but you know, pending program approval, and then it shows here whose step it's at and what the status is. For this, I'm going to hit approve. This would be kind of the manager, whoever you put in that step. Now it's approved. Hit the first step. So the app doesn't refresh live, so you have to click the refresh button here, and then it changes to submitted to finance officer. So I'll give it a second, see if I get an email. Now it says pending so now, since I'm the finance officer, it says pending finance officer review. So this is what the finance officer will see. You'll have to kind of pretend I'm changing hats here. So I'm going to click. So this is what the finance officer will see. They can click here to review it. Right, kind of similar thing. Just see the demo, the vendor name and the amount. I'll click here as the finance officer, and they're taken directly to the item. And the finance officer here actually has the ability. Let it load, but it's the pencil icon, and they can click edit into here, and the finance officer can add any information here, as opposed to the manager had no ability to edit, but the finance officer is able to change anything here, or they can comment.
Totally understand, yeah, no, yeah.
And respond to comments as well.
You know, let's try to go until maybe like 11:40 and go through there.
Give it a second to load here. And the finance officers, they can hit submit for approval or return to initiator, right, if there's something that needs to be changed or fixed. So as the finance officer, I'm going to hit submit for approval. Just assuming everything's good there, no edits need to be made. And then you're taken back to the home page here.
Not here every other year, and see my cousins, and I fell in love with it.
Try to.
I've been here in Chicago since.
Loading a little slow here, give it a second. Then you'll see it change to approved here, and then I'll show the email.
Process improvement, project management.
And then you'll see, this is for the finance officer as well, so it's following EPF, all required approvals, ready to submit for processing. So I'll click the link in that email, and this is kind of the final step in the process.
To help analyze, you know, how well their employees are, you know.
Give it 1 minute to load up.
You know,
working, so I'm going to close, and then I'll show you where it goes. Here's the 6.5. The link will just link them to this form, and now we have the ability to assign it to a clerk and send it to a clerk. And so this is kind of for the finance officer as well, so you guys won't have to do this, but I just wanted to show you what it's going to look like sent to clerk. So you have to come in here, right? It's this form. You have to click the edit button and actually assign it to a clerk before I can send it. This button's grayed out. I'm going to click the pencil button. I'm just going to assign to myself for the purpose of this demo, so I don't have to wait for anybody else. So I hit the edit, typed in the name, click the save button. You have the option to mark it as urgent. As finance officers, they could do that. Right, everyone has the ability to comment up here if there's questions, concerns, or thoughts. I'm just going to send it to a clerk as the approver, as a finance officer. So it's sent to the clerk. And then the final email should come through. Back in my dashboard, now the status went to sent to clerk. The email, and now here's kind of the final approval email where everybody's copied. in terms of, right, you can kind of see now it's been fully approved and sent to the clerk. And so you can see my demo invoices are attached, as well as, pull this up, this PDF, which was generated, and you'll notice it includes this PV number right here, payment voucher number, which is kind of auto-generated by the system. And this is sent to the clerk, actually, and you should be copied on this email. Right, everything answered. Go back. And then real quick, this is what it'll look like for sent to clerk. We're still working with the clerks on how this will work exactly, but the thought will be the clerks will eventually come in here. Right now, they're not doing it. And they can actually click one, you know, if it's submitted to FMPS, and then when it's paid. So the clerks will come in here and change the status, and then you can kind of follow along down here, and you'll be able to keep track of your EPFs and when they're paid. And the clerk, we're still kind of defining this with them, but they'll have the ability to select the date is paid and how much was paid. So you can kind of, you know, have better visibility and access into that information.
Accreditation and the reaccreditation.
Yeah, they'd have to come in here and type it in and mark it.
That's under my wing now, so I'm.
Then once it's done that, once it's marked as paid,
We are.
kind of falls off that dashboard. So then it's marked as paid here.
She's, I mean, amazing note taker and just like really good at explaining.
And that's the end of kind of the life cycle for the EPF app at this point. I'll pause. Anyone else have any other questions, thoughts, concerns?
This is Virginia. I have a question.
Yep.
Hi. I usually do EPFs for when sanitarians submit parking expense reimbursements. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but I never have, I don't believe I ever have a purchase order number, so I will always just put TBD. And also, those need like an Exhibit A that the deputy commissioner signs off on. So do you know the process for that yet, or?
Yeah, good question. So the app doesn't support Exhibit A's or B's or encumbrances right now. So I know that's kind of the next step in the process, but if it's an Exhibit A, B, or an encumbrance, you have to do it kind of the way you're doing it right now. So it's not for this app just yet.
Okay, well, that's kind of a good thing, because it would mean more work in terms of attaching a lot of documents. Sanitarians submit like receipts, parking reimburse. It's like multiple pages per person.
Right.
And it would just seem tedious scanning, attaching each one for this purpose, at least for right now.
Right.
Yes. So if I don't have to do this for right now, I think for me it's a good thing. But for the rest of it, I think it makes sense. It just for that
for the more simpler
purpose.
ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. I know they are working on it. So I'll take a note, maybe get your input for the future state, but I know that's not, you know, in the immediate lineup for app enhancements.
What about for the TPRA, the Technology Purchase Review and Approval Form? Do we leverage this new system for those submissions, or do we send those EPFs to legacy? Using the legacy process?
As long as it's not an Exhibit A, B, or an encumbrance, I'm not familiar with the TTRA process you're talking about, but it should be able to support it as long as it's not one of those ones that are unsupported.
Well, I that was going to be my next question that she asked, because some of those need the deputy commissioner's signature when it's, I forgot what the amount is, but I've had to have our deputy and including the IT person sign off on that TPRA. So I don't know if you could find that out for us.
Yeah, I can find that. Is it TTRA?
TPRA.
TPRA, got it. Thank you.
So basically, this system is actually only just for when you order in supplies to you know, really be technical about it, be truthful. Because everything else that we
Supplies,
use
I think
EPF
it's for vendors as well.
because like we do have people that travel, and like we do have to do an EPF like when we have to pay for an invoice as well. So Actually, this won't fall under because we have to provide an Exhibit A as well, and we do have to get other people to sign up. So this is only just right now, it's going to only be for supplies of us basically ordering supplies at the moment.
Yeah, supplies and vendors used for as well. But yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And then real quick, I didn't say this for everybody, but if you haven't done it yet, click the link in the chat that I put there, and it'll take you right to the app here. Just while I have you here, and the very first time you go to the app, it'll ask you to allow connections or allow a setup. So just click allow. You might have to like sign in, but it'll just give you access to the app, and it's only the very first time you access the app. So I just want to make sure it works for everybody. The link. And then we only have 3 minutes here. So just kind of the rollout plan for this is the app is live and working. So you're welcome to start using it. Right now, the plan is for the rest of this month, start using the app. And, you know, we're kind of supporting, right? Kind of working out if there's any issues or anything. So let me know if you run into any issues, but we're allowing submissions kind of both legacy way and this way through the app. And then starting early July, you know, July 3rd or whatever the first day is in July, we'll start only allowing submissions of EPFs through the app, actually, as long as this trial period goes well with minimal issues, not accounting for Exhibit A's, B's, or encumbrances. And like I said, I'm here to, you know, support you guys through using the app, right? So if you actually start doing it, have any questions at all, feel free to reach out, call, text, message me on Teams, whatever you need to do to reach me. And I'd be happy to jump on a call or email any issues that you're having to help you out. I see it's not allowing you to click on it. The link, if you don't mind sharing your screen, I could help you real quick. And if no one else has any questions, it's kind of the end of the training. So as long as the link works for you and you feel good, everyone, you're free to hop off now.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That's how to share screen. If you're on your computer, should be like a little screen sharing button. In Teams, it's like it's right next to the leave button. It says share. Perfect. You can see. If you go to the Teams, yeah, click the link. That link right up, if you just go up from your cursor there. And then just hit that allow button. The dots are loading right now, but it looks like it's working for you. And then when you're ready to add a new EPF, you hit that plus button in the upper left. It would start kind of, you know, you can start adding in an EPF when you're ready to do it. Awesome. All right. Thanks for joining. Have a good one.